three sizes of chainsaw. You've got a small one for close encounters, tight spaces, or where the risk is increased. You've got a medium-sized chainsaw, 14 to 16 inch blade, the small ones are 10. And then you go up to the big 28 inch bar for when things have got serious and trees come down, or a serious bough or a limb. Strimming is the bread and butter of the gardening trade at our side of things. So strimming power is the be all and end all to a degree, initially anyway. You can start with something small, running 2 strands, 2.4mm is pretty much your industry standard for general grass work. Depending on how many strands of it you use, depends on how much damage it'll do. With 2, you can do plenty, but very good for detail work or technical work. You can reduce the string size in thickness if you're unsure, or you're in a technical area where there's a lot of risk of damage from your spray and what you eject from the side, stones, chippings. You think about your cars and your windows and all the other things that strimming tends to throw stones at. Once you've got your confidence with 2, you want to move up the power bands and the damage level. These are the heads that we run. These are from Oregon, and they'll run 16 strands of the 2.4mm, no problem. But you can also, I'll show you on a cleaner head in a second. I need to show you a new head, that's obviously in need of it clean. But the damage that they can do is unbelievable. But you've got to know what you're doing with them. You've got to know what you are doing with them. So we've got the big pole saw, forestry saw there, which again is just a strimmer or a brush cutter on steroids with a big thicker shaft. For working in forestry areas, you can put blade tips on there, saw blades, all sorts, and do some serious carnage. The universal strimmer head that's interchangeable with your bog standard 2-string line on it. Bump feed, not really a fan. Move up to your combi tools, so you've got your different attachments, but you've got one engine unit, which is what that attaches to. They're great for commercial and for amateur ventures, shall we say. Saves you a lot of money in the end, but you've got to make sure that your joinings and your fittings are all looked after and they are serviced well, otherwise they'll start to cause you problems. And then we come to one of the deluxe items that a lot of people always want to know about. This is an electronic start brush cutter. It's flexi shaft on a backpack, so that's the engine. You carry it with you. And basically it's like being in a jet fighter. Safety catch goes up. There's no choke on and whatnot, so it won't start up. But a couple of pumps on that. Turn on that. That alone in a day, if all you're doing is strimming, saves you a lot of time, effort and energy. The fact it's on your back makes it easy to carry around with you. You've got less out here to boom around with. So at the end of the bullhorn you have the large engine unit, same with the smaller ones. Even with strimmer units, you're still carrying a lot of weight. The backpack helps distribute it, and for all day comfort it just doesn't get any better. Ease of use, these are used a lot more in Asian culture and a lot of the time for embankment work because you can alter the height of it. I have a bungee set on the handle that I'll attach to the backpack unit, which basically balances out the whole of the strimming head, even the weight of it. The actual head itself that I mentioned, that I'll show you in a second, is aluminium, so it's quite lightweight. Your strands depends on the overall weight of the product, shall we say. But again, it's one of those things. For all day, I'd definitely go with a backpack strimmer. That's one of my favourite trimmers ever. When it works, that's a whole other kettle of fish, shall we say. But when it is working on its day, it's hard to beat. That's still the best trimmer as far as I'm concerned. That's the best trimmer of them all as far as I'm concerned. The 555 RXT, that's a beast. It's an absolute monster. It's big, it's loud, and it's dangerous, and that's why I like it. But it gets the job done. You will need to go along afterwards with something lighter to get the mohawks or any fluffy edges you've left, or the more technical areas. Again, with the smaller trimmer, you're going to want a smaller string anyway, because then there's less chance of damage. Mentioning heads, these are the types of blades that you can run on the bigger trimmers or the brush cutters. That one especially is a mulching blade, is deadly. That's for your big thick brambles and when you really want to get in it and stuff. It's a grass blade when you've got tall grass and the line's not cutting it. But these are the 8 Oregon heads. Now, I'll be honest, on my website, this is the one thing that brings in most traffic. The fact that I mention these and I use these. We get a lot of web traffic about this. There's a reason, they're really good. Comparative to your standard bump feed heads, as far as I'm concerned, these represent a lot better value. You've got a lot more options, a lot more choice. The only difference is you have to get used to stringing them up compared to the spool, which a lot of people hate anyway. With these you get pre-cut lengths of line, but there's nothing to stop you buying a reel, cutting the line to your own sizes, because you're not necessarily going to like the way they size them up. They cut the 3.75mm line that you get free with it, or 3.5mm line. They're too short for me. All I do is basically loop them over, tie a knot in it, and loop them through. And that way it doesn't go anywhere. But with the orange line, as you've seen, I double it over into itself, and that's why you get 16 strands. And as far as I'm concerned, why have 2 strands or 4 strands or 8 strands when you can run 16? I change the line out on that, same as I do with the fuel. Most of these machines run at full flat out rate, pretty much for 45 minutes on a full tank of juice. So it's pre-mixed in most of the machines, apart from the 4-stroke stuff. Each of these will generally run 45 minutes flat out, and then it's time to rejuice them up. With the strimmers, that's usually when we need to change the lines out. I mean, these have done at least half an hour's work and they're still good to go. It's only if you don't know what you're doing with them and you're catching too much rough stuff, i.e. bricks, concrete, shrapnel, trees, anything sharp, metal, plastic that you're not supposed to be, that's when you start to lose your line. With a bump feed, you're forever bumping it out. It's just always, and then once it goes, it's a big long string that you've got to fight. These are easier. Hand in the air, my view. But doing this professionally in the years I have done, I found a way that I like, I'm sticking with it. I have another pair of secateurs with me. Off that hurry. No. I think so. Let's have a look. Come around yay long. Slice that off there. You take that bit and you just twist it over and tie a knot in it. It's as simple as that. And then feed the 2 cut ends in your holes. Put it through. Once the knot holds there, the line holds there, you've got 2 strands instead of 1. It's not rocket science as far as I'm concerned. The effect it has on the ground when you're working is it reduces your time, reduces your fatigue, and it increases your productivity, and your downtime is decreased. It's only if I as the operator have done something wrong, I might lose in line, especially if I'm losing half the line. It helps raise the question, but again, that's a professional thing. The one advantage with the backpack strimmer over the other versions, even with the harness, a sling on and whatnot, you've still got to have a sling, you've still got to have a harness, you've got to remember to take it with you everywhere. The beauty with these is, it is as it is, it does what it does, and it is pure form over function. Function over form, sorry. They are the way forward, but they're expensive. That one and the 555 RXT are some of the most expensive strimmers or brush cutters you can get out there. Professional. That's a bit of a unicorn. You very rarely see them in the UK. these are almost near industry standard in a lot of places, because you have the 50-50 cam, don't you? You have Stihl, Husqvarna, Echo or whoever, but generally it's either Stihl or Husky. We run with both, but I tend to run more of Husky stuff than Stihl stuff. Their backpack blower will be getting replaced next time round with a Husqvarna, the big one, just to see the difference. And also I've just had issues with Stihl and warranties again, so maybe that's why I lean towards more Husqvarna kit, I don't know. This, however, this is a beast. I've got no complaints with that whatsoever. It's an amazing machine. It does a seriously good job, and it's not flawless, but it's damn close to it. I've been running quite a few rotavators in the past. I've found nothing else to beat this. It's an absolute monster. But again, we don't buy the smaller machines anymore for the same reason. They just don't cut it. Bigger blower is always better. Some of you questioned, or might be questioning, what the hell that is. That's a mist blower. So basically we fill the tank up with whatever we want to get out into the world or over the foliage, which is what we primarily use it for. It is a mist blower that we use for foliar feeding. So we shoot taller hedges, trees, whatever is requiring feeding with them. Vines, wisteria, whatever, whenever they require feeding, or even watering. We can use that for watering in tight spaces or awkward places. But it can be used for other chemicals, fertilising, pesticides, weed killer. But it does provide a massive bellow of mist that you can't control, so it's probably best avoided for that unless you've got a really big field and you know what you're doing. I'd recommend having the license to do it as well. But this is the lineup this year for the most of the stuff that we do and most of the stuff that we use and most of the stuff that we are requested for. And as you can see, it's not the little stuff. We have the bigger toys, we have more powerful ones, and that's why we end up with the jobs that other people can't take or won't do, because they can't get the job done. So I hope that answers a few of the questions that have been coming our way, or shows you some of the stuff that we use in case you're thinking of coming our way. We do cater for the larger garden. We are all year round service, and we tend to get things done pretty quickly and with a lot of noise. So with that in mind, I will leave you to it, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.